Okay, welcome back guys. I took a shower for this video so I can finally do it, so welcome. Today we're gonna talk about the biggest problem I have with Cyberpunk 2077. And I know what you're going to say. LastKnownMeal, is it about RPG elements? No. Is it about poor optimization? No. Is it about AI or the lack of AI? No. It's actually about Jackie Wells. In my opinion, Jackie Wells is an extremely underutilized character and one of the biggest mistakes CDPR has ever made. So let's get into it. Now obviously in this video we are going to talk about spoilers kinda after the heist, so we're only going to focus on Jackie Wells and everything regarding Jackie Wells. After that, like, I'm not gonna spoil anything else. But the first moment all of us got into the game, regardless of the life path, we saw our boy Jackie. There he was, one of the most famous characters of this universe, even more famous than Saburo and all of the people combined in this universe, because Jackie Wells was one of the few characters other than we that we actually followed through this entire time before the game came out. Because CDPR released the gameplay video, right, where we go through the Maelstrom mission with Jackie Wells. There is also a mission where we save Sandra Dorset. There is also that, something we knew about, obviously. And then when the trailer came with Keanu, in that trailer, Jackie dies. And all of us were like, what is going on? What is going on? You give us a character, now he's dead. What is going on? Everyone assumed all of a sudden that Jackie dying is just one of the outcomes that the game is going to present you with. And everyone were okay. But you also had a handful of people who were saying before the Cyberpunk came out that Jackie is going to die, that this is the cutscene where Jackie dies. And I've been thinking, okay, Jackie dies, there has to be something more to it. There has to be something more to it, because you won't just put a spoiler in a trailer. You're not going to do it. You're not going to put a spoiler in a trailer that of the outcome you cannot change. Yet they did. I'm not gonna lie. When that moment happened, when Jackie died, when I went to see Dex, when all of that played out, I was pissed. I was pissed that actually that happened. Because let's look at the story. Let's look at the length of Cyberpunk 2077. The main story is not that long, and lots of people argue that the story and everything in Cyberpunk 2077 regarding the main story is just too short. And basically people say like, oh, that was done because The Witcher 3 was too long and now they cut the story. But of course the game was relying on that replayability value, where you go with one character, you do something, and then you're going to have a different ending. And the game does have different endings, like, that's not a problem. The problem is also length. In my opinion, yes, the game, or well, the main story is too short. But if this first section with Jackie Wells was actually fleshed out properly, it would have been perfect. Just think about it. So you meet Jackie, you do the intro basically for your life path, that's great. You go inside of the city, Jackie shows you the city, you have this whole segment with Psycho Squad and everything, doing stuff, amazing stuff. And then you see the cutscene, the same cutscene that was in the trailer, and that's basically us doing jobs with Jackie. And then after that, boom, we are on the Sandra Dorset mission. Boom, we are actually storming the Maelstrom. Boom, we are in the heist tower. We are in Arasaka or Konpeki Plaza doing the heist. Boom, it's done. Jackie's gone. And he's gone straight as it was in the trailer. Which I don't get why. Why would you rob people of that excitement, or well, the emotion they're going to have when they see one of their favorite side characters die in front of them? That's actually the problem. Because people knew it. People knew about everything. And if that intro sequence of you and Jackie doing adventures, if that actually wasn't just, you know, a cutscene, it would have been amazing. And think about one thing. I'm someone who does read the source book, so I know what I was getting into. I know the lore and everything regarding the world. And I believe that you would have such a bigger impact into the story and the world if the intro, if all of those scenes that we had with Jackie were actually scenes that we played out in the game with him. Because it would be amazing. You roll into a city, you know one guy, you know Jackie's your friend. And then you're going through all of these adventures, you're meeting Padre, you're doing this, you're doing that. There is nothing. Because in the trailer, when those segments were shown, a lot of people thought those cuts are actually going to be a part of something bigger, a bigger story, you know. But when people got into the game, well, they had seen that this montage was it. It was that. It was basically copy and paste from the cutscene of the game into a trailer. And that can give you a wrong impression of what is going to happen. And this whole segment, where they want to give you that emotional feeling that of loss towards your Chumba, you know, towards Jackie. That feeling could have been much stronger and much bigger if we didn't know what was happening and if we didn't know what was going on. We already knew the intro to the game from the gameplay videos they had shown, and I still don't get it why they even shown that. Like, I know it's been shown to portray the game and everything, but they really chose the wrong moments to do it. They chose the wrong missions to do it, because a lot of those missions are content you experience in the game, and then you move from that intro. That's a huge problem. And I've been thinking about it, it would be the same as in The Witcher 3 if they were actually marketing the game with showing Vesemir dying. Because when I think about it, the first time I saw Vesemir dying in The Witcher 3, that was a shock. That was a huge shock for me, because I was like, what's going on? Why did he die? Because we didn't know about it. But for Cyberpunk, we knew about so many things about Jackie and everything, that even the send-off that he did have, like him dying, it was more anger that I couldn't save him, and I knew that this is going to happen and I couldn't stop it. That was worse, in my opinion, than you know, experiencing Jackie dying for the first time, because if they wanted that emotional impact, it would have been amazing to have it. And for Cyberpunk 2077, we knew a lot. We knew a lot about Jackie Wells, we knew a lot about that situation. When you have your character die in a video game just like that, and you cannot do anything, and on top of that, his death was actually shown in the trailer, it diminishes everything that your developers and writers were trying to do. Because I do believe that the later trailers for Cyberpunk 2077, they were too much focused on action than other things. And in my opinion, they showed too much in those trailers. They could have focused on something else. But the entire Jackie situation is bad, because it makes the intro just a chore. It doesn't make intro actually something exciting that you can play multiple times, because you know what's going to happen, you know how Jackie is going to die, you know all of those things. And if we actually had a chance to interact with Jackie for a longer period of time before the heist, it would have such a bigger impact. And I'm not against killing off Jackie as that plot twist that puts things in motion. I'm not against it. But it should have never been revealed. And also, the segments with Jackie, to create that emotional connection and to actually have a proper introduction into Night City, should have been longer. And automatically, with a longer intro, with all of those adventures you have with Jackie, it would increase the length of the game, and ultimately you would solve the problem of game being too short for some people. And yes, the story is short, let's face it, it's great, the characters are amazing, and CDPR is well capable of creating great characters. Goro Takemura, Penham Palmer, Judy Alvarez, amazing characters. But still, Jackie was just so underutilized that it saddens me, because a lot of people just want to see V having adventures with Jackie. One of the first mods in the game, like, can you bring Jackie as a companion? Like, this is the character that became such an iconic part of Cyberpunk 2077, that people definitely expected a bigger intro to his story and his arc and everything which happens that will just have a bigger emotional impact on you later in the game. And when you show that in a trailer, it had an impact then. A lot of people were like, oh, why is this happening? But once you go into the game itself and once you see Jackie dying like that, it's like, well, I knew that this was gonna happen. What's the point? So yeah, this is the biggest problem I have. It's Jackie Wells. This entire story with him and this entire section with Jackie should have been longer, not just for the Jackie part, but also for the introduction to Night City, because it would have been really cool if we were able to go on a walk with Jackie, do a couple of missions, you know, low tier missions at first, before we get like a tip. Hey, there is this heist thing that, you know, Dex is organizing, let's go for that. This is gonna be our next big step. But everything before that, it seems to me that we're just like watching and saying like, oh, look at this is cool. Oh, they're picking out new weapons, amazing, I wish I could do that. And that's I think a problem that a lot of people share. So yeah, that's something that I was disappointed in Cyberpunk 2077. That was my most disappointing thing. I know that there's other issues which are far more important, and yeah, but especially this Jackie situation could have been handled better, and I still don't know why they would spoil such a huge thing in a trailer. It blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind that someone, like, the trailer was great, like from the animation side, amazing, but why that? Like, why? What was the point behind that? Especially because that's such a pivotal moment which ends that whole thing with Jackie and puts emotion in a different act, in a sense, which could have been longer. So yeah, that was my opinion. Before you unsubscribe, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to also like the video because it helps with the algorithm. Thank you so much. Let's show YouTube who's the boss, because when you click that like button, the algorithm says, ah, this video is actually good, let's recommend it, you know, to like 5 more people. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to also join our growing community on Twitter and Discord, and I do have a Patreon page. If you were looking for an extra way to support the channel, you can do it through the link below. And this is LKM signing out. Stay classy everyone, and huge thanks to my current Patreon supporters. Bye bye.